Intuition functions as an advanced internal navigation system, one that processes information through routes far more complex and subtle than rational thought. At the center of this system is not just the brain, but a distributed network of sensory and cognitive processing centers spread across the body. Each of these centers contributes to the decoding of environmental and energetic signals that rational logic alone cannot perceive or interpret in real time. Contemporary neuroscience supports the idea that decision-making does not begin with conscious awareness. EEG studies have demonstrated that the brain shows activity related to decisions several hundred milliseconds before the person becomes aware of making a choice. In some cases, such as experiments by Benjamin Libet and later John Dylan Haynes, measurable neural activity occurred up to 7 seconds before a person consciously decided to act. This suggests that cognition is not initiated in the frontal cortex, but emerges from deeper layers of the nervous system that process vast amounts of data silently, below conscious awareness. But the brain is not working alone. The heart, as shown by research from the HeartMath Institute, sends more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. These cardiac signals directly influence emotional regulation and mental clarity. When a person reaches a state of psychophysiological coherence, where the heartbeat, breathing, and brain activity become synchronized, the body enters an optimal condition to detect subtle internal and external cues. People in this state often report spontaneous clarity, insight, and a calm sense of knowing. These are not abstract experiences, they are measurable shifts in physiology. The nervous system also extends into what's known as the enteric brain, the neural network embedded in the gut. This system contains over 500 million neurons and produces over 90% of the body's serotonin. It plays a key role in intuitive signals, especially those felt as gut feelings. These sensations are the result of the body scanning its environment for resonance or dissonance and relaying those findings through non-verbal channels like tension, warmth, or stillness. Intuition is not just a product of biology, it's also tied to quantum processes. In the field of quantum biology, it's proposed that microtubules within neurons may facilitate quantum computation. The OR theory by Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff suggests that consciousness, and by extension intuitive insight, may stem from quantum-level fluctuations inside cells. This positions the human system as capable of interacting with information beyond the confines of space and time. This opens the door to our relationship with the ether, a subtle, non-material medium that ancient philosophies describe as the connective tissue of the cosmos. In this view, the body acts like a tuning fork, resonating with frequencies that exist within this field. Information that has not yet emerged into time-bound experience may be sensed as intuitive guidance. The concept aligns with the idea of Akasha, a Sanskrit term describing an omnipresent energetic library or matrix in which all thought, emotion, and events are recorded. Intuition may be the human mechanism for accessing fragments of this vast, non-local informational source. This resonance-based perception is reinforced by spiritual practices that quiet mental noise. Meditation, breathwork, sensory withdrawal, chanting, and sacred ritual are all designed to reduce interference from the analytical mind and open perception to deeper intelligence. Yogic traditions teach that when sensory input is minimized, internal awareness expands. Indigenous cultures use isolation, fasting, and deep nature immersion to sharpen inner sensitivity. These ancient approaches are aligned with modern neuroscience findings. When brainwave activity slows from high-frequency beta into alpha and theta states, the brain becomes more responsive to subtle input. Scientific studies of long-term meditators show increased thickness in brain regions responsible for emotional awareness, body perception, and intuitive sensitivity. These individuals also show enhanced coherence between heart and brain activity, which strengthens their ability to register pre-verbal or energetic input without distortion. From a biological standpoint, the body's electrical and chemical systems also play a significant role in intuition. The fascia, a connective tissue network that surrounds every muscle and organ, is now believed to conduct electrical signals and store information. This network may serve as a body-wide sensory organ, rapidly transmitting subtle cues before the brain has time to process them consciously. The body, when balanced and attuned, becomes a transceiver, a device that both receives and broadcasts information. This bidirectional flow means that not only do we pick up information from the ether and the environment, but our own emotional and energetic states can either enhance or obscure those incoming signals. Stress, fear, trauma, and excessive rationalization all create noise in the system, making it harder to perceive subtle intuitive input. These disruptions affect coherence. When coherence is lost through sleep deprivation, emotional turbulence, overstimulation, or chronic anxiety, the intuitive signal is often drowned out. Intuition functions as a coherence detector. It helps identify what is energetically aligned with our deeper sense of self. This applies not just to people and environments, but to decisions, paths, and timing. Those who regularly follow intuitive guidance often describe experiencing flow, synchronicity, and a reduction in unnecessary effort. This isn't luck, it's biological and energetic alignment. Repeated use of intuition builds trust in this system. Just like a muscle, intuitive capacity strengthens with attention and feedback. When intuitive choices yield positive results, the brain reinforces those neural pathways. Over time, this leads to faster, clearer access to subtle information. The process is known in neuroscience as reinforcement learning. Intuition, however, can be confused with fear or emotional reactivity. Fear tends to feel urgent, tight, and mentally loud. It often comes with imagined worst-case scenarios and future projections. Intuition, by contrast, is typically calm, clear, and emotionally neutral. It may deliver a warning, but it does so without panic. Intuitive messages are usually direct and simple, arising as a quiet certainty or a spontaneous inner directive. To enhance intuitive sensitivity, several evidence-based and experiential practices are helpful. Meditation strengthens the ability to differentiate between internal noise and subtle insight. Spending time in nature reduces external stimulation and helps the nervous system re-enter coherence. Breath regulation calms the autonomic nervous system, increasing interoceptive awareness. Somatic practices like Tai Chi or mindful movement enhance the recognition of internal cues like tension, shifts in posture, or changes in temperature. Journaling and reflection help capture intuitive impressions before the rational mind distorts them. Over time, a personal lexicon of intuitive signals can develop, an inner language unique to each individual. Ultimately, intuition is not a supernatural gift, but a natural faculty. A sophisticated perceptual system embedded within our biology, refined by experience and amplified through alignment with the body, the mind, and the energetic architecture of the universe. It is how consciousness interfaces with the invisible and translates it into motion, choice, and direction. It is how the individual receives signals from the field, the ether, and the Akashic fabric that underlies visible reality. When cultivated, trusted, and understood, intuition becomes one of the most accurate tools for navigating the complexity of life. If this perspective resonates with you, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more content like this.